Hello. I know I already did something like this on the today we're making up the short pants somebody requested. First thing, you want to get your pattern of your choice. You can either use white, you can see I have white on that, or you can use brown. So to make these pants, you're going to need, it's a very short one. We will minus the waistband from it, okay, depending on the band you want. I'll minus just 1 inch. I will measure from the waist to the hip depth, which is 8 inch. From the waist to the crotch depth. Remember, how do you get your crotch depth line is by taking round hip divided by 4. You mark it if it is a fitting one. If you just want it to be a little bit low, so you add 1 inch to it. Okay, if you're making high waist, you can add up to 1.5 or 2 inch to it. So I'll just mark my crotch depth. I'm going to go ahead now and mark the length of my pant. Like I said, it's a very short pants. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark my length right there. Now that I have those points marked up, I'm going to rule a straight line right there. I'm going to come here and do the same thing right here, and I'm going to come here and also rule another line right there. Now that I am done doing so, I have the waist. Sorry, the waist, I have the hip, I have the crotch, and I have the length of it. Now that I am done marking that up, okay, now that I am done marking it up, leveling them up, I'm going to go ahead now and take the round waist, the round hip divided by 4. The round hip I'm working on is 34 divided by 4. It's going to give me 9. No. That was the round hip I'm working with is 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'm going to come here and mark that's 9.5 right there. Now do the same thing right here, 9.5. I will rule a straight line all the way to this point up. Okay, then just bring this. All right, and also connect this other line to go in like that. Now that I am done doing so, now we are going to go ahead and mark the crotch extension. To get your crotch extension is by dividing round hip by 20, or you take round hip divided by 4, you divide it by 4, and then again whatever answer you get, you divide it again into 4. So I'm going to go ahead and mark mine. All right, so 1/4 of the hip divided by 4, whatever you have, you're going to go ahead and mark that up. So I'm just going to connect it up to that point. The next thing I would do right now is to come here. I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch. I will go in by 3/4 inch. You can do 1/2 inch if you wish. Okay, I went down by 1/2 inch, went down by 1/2 inch, went in by 3/4 inch. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come here, connect these points up. You don't want to make it too curvy, neither you want to make it too deep. Okay, if you check what I have there, it's not that deep, so I'm going to connect it now to meet this point, but make sure that I stop at that 1/2 inch. This is my 1/2 inch right there. Now that I am done doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to come here like this. I'll just measure from this point. I'm going to put 1/4 of the round waist. 1/4 of my round waist Okay, 1/4 of my round waist. Whatever your round waist is, you're just going to take your round waist, divide it into 4. Okay, so I will take mine, I will divide it into 4, which is 28 divided by 4 is going to give me 7. Then now I will not be adding my DAT allowance, but normally you're supposed to add up your DAT allowance. Okay, let me just go ahead and add the DAT allowance, so we should not make any mistakes. So I'm going to add 1 inch, making it 8 inch. So after marking that point up, I'm going to come here like this. I have to bring it up to meet up that point that I've just marked. Okay, I didn't want to add a DAT allowance, but for you people to understand better, I'll add it. Then I'm going to connect this up from this part. And remember that we went down by 1/2 inch. I'm going to bring it all out. Sorry, I'm going to bring it all the way like this to meet up this point. You see what I've just done there, right? Now that I am done doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple. Alright, so my nipple to nipple is 7.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 3.075. I will mark and connect it up like this. Once I am done connecting that point up, the next thing I want to do is to come here like this. I'm going to go down by 4.5 inch. I'm going to come here and mark my 1/2 inch both sides. Where is this one? 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch both sides. I will connect it to meet up that 4.5 inch. I'm going to come here and do the same thing, 4.5 inch. Okay, now that I am done doing so, the next thing we want to do is to come here. As you can see, it's a very simple one. I'm going to come here, all right? So I'll just simply measure up whatever I have from this part to this part, which is almost 11.5. I'm going to minus 1 inch from there, making it, no, I will minus 1.5 inch, meaning that I'll be left with 10 inch. Then I'm going to just connect this up like this, connect this part up like so. Okay, now that I am done connecting that part up, we have the front. The front cut, you have to cut it times 2. All right, so I am going to be using this front to cut up the back, so I will need to cut this pattern, cut it up like this. Let me do it more very easy and simple. See, I'm just gonna cut. Then to just, if you want, you can wrap up the back separately, all right? But this method is what we always use easily, so that we should not waste time. You use your thumb to drag up the back. It's quite very easy this way. Just going to go ahead and carefully cut it at the side. Now I'm cutting it up here. And we're going to go ahead now, cut this part. Okay, I am done cutting it, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place it up like this. Okay, when I'm placing it up, I make sure that I have an allowance at the side. All right, I have allowance at the side, I have allowance at the top. All right, so I'm just pinning it to hold that up. Can you see? What happened? Oh shit. Okay guys, I was trying to record it, but it seems that that thing went off. Okay, so I have right there. Now I'm going to make sure, I just realized that this part is not straight, it's supposed to be straight, so that we should not have anything working for me. I'm going to remove this and adjust that up again. Okay, so this is what we have. As you can see, I have allowance at the sides, I have allowance too here, and I also have allowance right there. Now, what we're going to do, first of all, the line is going to be the same. We're going to maintain the line, okay? The line is supposed to be the same. I'm just going to roll up this part like this with a straight line. Okay, I'll extend that up. Now, I am going to go ahead now. I will come here and extend this part. Remember, the brush of the back is always ×2 than the one you get for the front. Assuming that the front was 2 inch, the back should be at least 3.5 inch. So you can measure 3.5 inch from this point. Okay, so automatically I'm going to, what was it? Let me measure it again to be sure. Okay, it was almost here. So I'm gonna go ahead now and yeah. So let's just say 1.075. I'm going to go ahead and just mark this up almost here. Yep. Mark that point. Now, from this point, you just want to come here. This point, you want to go down by 0.25. All right? You see what I've just done? 0.25 from this point. Now, from this point, you're going to go out by 2 inch from here, 2 inch. You see what I've just done, right? 2 inch. 2 inch. From here to here, you go out by 2 inch. Look at the way I'm placing it, like this, 2 inch. Now, I'm going to come here like this. I will go in by at least 1 inch. Now measure whatever I have from this point to this point, which is 8.025. I'm going to come here. I will move a line here like this so that I should have that point. Alright, so I'm going to come here and mark that 0 point this. But before I go ahead to mark that up, I want to lift this up by 1.5 inch. For smaller size, I always go up by 1.5 inch. But if you're bigger size like medium, you can go up by 2 inch. I'm going to connect it now to meet up that point. That's 8.025, which is right there. Sorry. I'm going to connect it up like this. You see what I've just done, right? Can you see that? Now, I'm going to come here. We're going to continue the back. I'm going to come here like this. I'll go out by 0.75. Remember, the back is always normally bigger than the front. 0.75, 0.75, which is closely to 1 inch, but not 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these points up like this, all the way to this point. I'll just roll this part up. Why is it looking funny here? I say, why is it looking funny here? This one is correct. So I'm just going to reconnect it. I made a mistake. Connect this all the way to that point. Remember, like I said, the length is supposed to be the same. Alright, now that we are done doing so, I'm going to come here. We have to connect it like this from this point, okay? So now we're just going to go ahead and fold it over like that. Remember, we already marked our points up. Take your curve roller. As you can see, this is how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be too deep. From that point all the way to the top. Can you see? Can you see that? Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead now and add at least 1.5 inch. Here I will do 1.5 inch. So we're gonna bring it up like that. You can do 1.5 inch. You can also do 1 inch. Okay. So can you see now? I'm going to go ahead now and remove it. Remove the front. Now take. Remember that we did add much allowance. Okay, so we add. We'll do 1.5 inch from now a second. So we just measure up whatever I have like this, which is 8.025. I'm going to mark 4.2. I will, then I come down. Remember that the front we went down by 4.5. The back is supposed to be longer. So I'm going down by 5.5. You can even go down up to 6 inch. I will do a straight line right there. Now I'm going to mark 1/2 inch both sides. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch here, then 1/2 inch here. Remember, we are using the front. Automatically, we already have our that allowance included. Okay. And if you notice, I've not added any sewing allowance. So we have the back. Okay, we have the back right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. I hope the person that was asking, she's going to be able to make this short, because it's quite very easy when it comes to making this pattern. Very, very easy. So wait. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and from here to and here I'm going to do the same thing. This paper, I was thinking that will not be good enough, but it's very, very nice. I have to buy some from the same company because the pattern is really good. I made the paper. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut and format. So we have the back. We also cut times 2. And if you notice, I've not added a zipper allowance. Most of you be like, Anita, you do not add your zipper allowance. How are you going to cut? So I'm going to go ahead now and cut. And just put it everything. And cut my waistband of 1.5 inch. So I'm going to come here and mark 1.5 inch. Then I'm going to take half of the waist. Let me just use whatever I have there. Okay, 1/4 of the waist, which is 9, which is 8. Sorry, I roll a straight line all the way to that 8 right there. This is 1/4. Remember, 1/4 of the waist. When you're cutting it, you can now go ahead. Cutting it on the fabric. You can now go ahead and cut your half of your waist. Full of your waist, not half. Sorry. So there they talk. And just like this is the waistband of 1.5. This is my waist band. Anita. Okay, so this is 1/4. Now let me go ahead. Now I'll be cutting the zipper flyer, but normally I was supposed to cut it at the front, but you can still do it this way. I'm going to mark 1.5. Normally when you're cutting the flyer, you measure up whatever you have from here to here. I'm going to mark at least 7 inch. 7 inch. I'm going to connect this up like this. And want to cross check again if it is 7 inch. Yeah, okay, 7 inch. I'm going to mark and connect. Want to cut this closely on the stand. Now I'm going to go ahead and just round, give it the curve right there, a small curve. Let's see, I'll keep a small curve, which is what we're supposed to achieve. Why did I even cut it at the opposite side? How am I going to cut it? Okay, so I'm supposed to cut it at this other side. So I'll put it facing each other. Yeah. Okay. You see, this is what I have. Alright. Remember, like here it's kind of a little bit sharp. I don't want it to be sharp. Just round it out a little bit. It's perfect. Now. That was easy to go. Sorry, I'm having a lot of things. I wanted to drop the longer one, but I needed to do this first because this was a tutorial that was requested. Okay, so we have the back. Normally we're supposed to drop this one included with this, but you can still do this like this. Add up 1/2 inch of allowance and join them up together. This is not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like this. That's what I was saying. That why did I draft it up the other way? It's supposed to come like this. Can you see? This is how it's supposed to be. Alright, so don't go and draft it up like that. Draft it up with your pattern so you don't make the mistake. So like this, it's supposed to be like this. Alright, can you see that? So I have the front and the back. Remember, your length is supposed to be the same. The side is supposed to be the same. If anything is looking funny, you go ahead and arrange it up. Trim that off. So I have this, and I have this here. It's like this. You have the band. Right? So I hope it was helpful to you. Don't forget to follow me for upcoming project. Thank you.